Now the catch is, behind that nose guard is made out of a hard rubber. Hard enough that you could break glass with it, okay? And to wear it, it has a lip on the back of it. You can't see that. And you would bite down on that lip to hold it in place. Now, can you imagine what happened to somebody that gets your nose guard?
Man.
Hey, what's up everyone? Obviously, you can see I'm at the one and only, incredible, most inspiring place on earth, they say, Pro Football Hall of Fame. I am tremendously honored to be here to do the keynote speech and presentation tomorrow on Saturday. But right now, the fun is gonna come first for this business trip. But we're about to do a private tour of the Hall of Fame. Just know, a lot of cool stuff is about to come our way.
The interesting thing is that signed cards actually have a lower value than an unsigned card. The signing of the card is considered to have defaced the card. So if you ever get a card and you want the guy to sign it, get another piece of paper and have him sign it and put it with it. It's a Joe Namath rookie card. Okay, now that card is valued at between $300,000 and $400,000.
What?
We have not been able to confirm it, but we think this is the jersey that he wore in that card. The catch is that he had injured his leg and he had had knee surgery. His publicist came to the hospital and said, "Joe, we need to get a picture of you for the football card." So he took him out in the hallway, put the jersey on him, handed him the football, and took the picture, then put him back in bed. All right, you want to test your knowledge?
Oh boy.
All right.
Peyton Manning, Ray Lewis, Jerry Rice. Ben, don't put my bad grade on here.
Now what we've got here is the first 100 years of football. I love this poster up here for the Massillon Tigers against the Canton Bulldogs in 1917. What's interesting about it, read the bottom 3 lines of that poster. They were tailgating in 1917.
That is amazing.
Now these were all men who worked for the Goodyear Rubber Company in Akron, and they were deaf. And Goodyear had discovered that individuals who were deaf did great work in the noise of the rubber factory. And their football team is where the huddle originated. The coach for the team was so concerned that another coach would steal his hand signals that he huddled the players around to give them the signals. It wasn't verbal, it was the other way around.
What? That is an incredible story.
This is from the navel down without pads.
That's not their thigh, is it?
Yes.
That's their thigh?
Yes.
Oh.
What in the world?
Thing's bigger than your whole body, guy.
What? Described as a runaway bulldozer? Oh.
Well, he's known as the bus. This team is the only team in NFL history that ever had 6 brothers play at the same time.
Golly.
The Nesser brothers were all out of the same family, same mom. In 1921 in a game, Ted's son played with the team. Marks the only time in the 100-year history of the NFL, a father and son played in the same game on the same team in NFL history.
Indian Packing Company.
Yeah.
That's where the Packers.
Yeah, yeah. Teams were sponsored by companies. You know, sort of like Little League teams are today. Same idea. Yeah, that's where it comes from the Indian Packing Company. The starting center for the University of Michigan Wolverines in I think it's 33 and 34, it may be 34 and 35, played those years as the starting center for the University of Michigan Wolverines without a helmet. His name was Gerald Ford.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How about that?
The largest one of these ever made
Yeah.
was a 19.5 made for Bronco Nagurski. The largest Super Bowl ring ever made was a 23. This is the first NFL game played indoors. In 1932, the Portsmouth Spartans and the Chicago Bears ended up tied. And so they decided to decide who the champion was. They'd have to have a playoff game, first NFL playoff game. Problem was it got so cold, they had to move the game indoors. And they moved it to the Chicago Stadium, a hockey arena. So when you got to the 50-yard line, you had to turn around and go back the other way. But because of that, they had to make a couple of adjustments to the game. One of them was, see this big wall around there? In the hockey stadium. To make sure they had enough room to run plays, they came in 10 yards from the sidelines and put little marks. And that's where they would mark the ball. Today's Hashmarks. In the 1930s, they were encouraging teams to move out of places like Rockford and Canton and Muncie, Indiana, and Pottsville, Pennsylvania. They moved to large cities. They said, take the name of the baseball team in that city so you have better fan recognition. The end result is you have teams like the Brooklyn Dodgers, the Cleveland Indians, the Cincinnati Reds,
New York Yankees.
New York Yankees, okay? But two teams still today hold their names are connected to the baseball team that was in that city when the football team started playing. Can you guess which two they might be? First one's a tough one. It's the New York Giants, because the San Francisco Giants baseball team used to play in New York. Okay. The other one is Chicago Bears. What's the name of the baseball team?
In Chicago?
Yeah. The White Sox and the Cubs. But George Halas said the football players are bigger and stronger, so we're not going to be called Baby Bears. Chicago Bears is how they got their name. See hand sizes of players, quarterbacks, I should say.
You should ask me before you use my arm model for this plate.
Well, you know, we tried to hunt you down, but you were occupied.
This size comparison is about accurate with my team leader in Afghanistan.
Oh, really?
A massive guy. And, you know, he was in charge of me, so we would always joke about before going to Afghanistan, you know, I'm definitely going to be the first one to get hit. You know, he's like, you know, your tiny ass is probably going to get through 3 deployments and not have a scratch on you. I get hit, and he makes it through 3 and doesn't get a scratch on him. Like, how does that happen?
Now, what makes this so controversial is that back in 1972, 2 offensive players cannot touch a pass and the second one catching it be legal.
Okay.
There had to be a defensive touch in between. Mm-hmm. What you cannot tell, and they have never been able to tell, is whether that pass that was thrown hit Frenchie Fuqua, the Steeler, or hit Jack Tatum, the Raider.
Right.
And they argue to this day.
Don't know who it came off of.
No, if it hit Jack Tatum, play can continue. If it hit Frenchie Fuqua, the play was dead and the game was over.
So they can't really tell.
They can't. And the other thing is, notice when he catches the ball,
Did it hit the ground?
you can't tell. The camera angle doesn't show you because they didn't have instant replay, and they had limited camera angles. Now there are a couple of, they may be true, they may be apocryphal. One is that when the referees are trying to decide what they're going to call a play, they supposedly asked security in the Pittsburgh Stadium, if we call this a non-touchdown, can you protect us? And they said no.
Touchdown. Let's go, boys.